Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Forged from Iron. Please don't forget, as we always ask you to do, to like, comment, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and please hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support. We are here to discuss the UEFA Europa Conference League quarter-final first leg, where we travel to play Ghent at the Ghelamco Arena. Now, yes, you'll notice that Duke isn't here. He might appear. I don't know. He's obviously very, very busy at the pub. So whatever, it is what it is. This is what happens sometimes. But yeah, so we're obviously going to Belgium, and yeah, I mean, we know the route to the final, don't we? If we get past Ghent, we've obviously got the winners of the Anderlecht versus AZ Alkmaar tie. That tie is played tomorrow. Theirs is an 8 o'clock kickoff. We're at 5:45 tomorrow, UK time. So hopefully by the time that game kicks off, we'll obviously have, fingers crossed, half a foot into the semi-final. But we've actually got a little bit of history. I don't know if you guys know this. We've actually got a little bit of history with Ghent. We actually played each other the last time we won a European trophy. And when I say a European trophy, I'm talking a proper European trophy. I'm not talking about the Intertoto Cup here. We actually played them in the first round of the European Cup Winners' Cup in season 63-64. 64-65, excuse me. 63-64 was the FA Cup final win. We actually played them in the first round of the Cup Winners' Cup. They weren't known as Ghent then. They were known by their French name, which is Le Gantoise. We played them over a 2-legged affair. We went to Ghent, same as what we're doing tomorrow, and we won that game 1-0 with a goal in the 52nd minute by Ronnie Boyce. And we then brought them back to play the second leg, where we played them at Upton Park, obviously the bowling ground. We drew 1-1 with our goal coming on the 43rd minute by Johnny Byrne. Their goal came through an own goal, 32nd minute by Martin Peters. There you go. I didn't do it off the top of my head. I've got it on Wikipedia. So, if you think I know all these things off the top of my head very readily, I don't. It's on the screen in front of me. So there you go. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, oh, this could be a little bit of a lucky omen. Who knows? With the last time we won a proper European trophy, we played this team en route. Well, Maybe. I mean, lucky omens and all that. Name on the trophy. You never know. Talking of names, this is the one. These are the officials. They're all from Greece. Yes. Please don't ask me to pronounce their names because I could be here for some considerable time. But there you go. We got the guy with the referee's whistle. We'll call him just Tassos. It's easier. We'll just call him Tassos. He won't care. His assistants are Polly and Lazaros. There you go. The Lazaros Demetriadis. There you go. The fourth official is Vasilis Fotias. Yeah, okay. VAR is Angelos Evangelou, and his assistant is Aris. Yeah, there you go. Aris. There you go. Well, I mean, his surname's even worse. Jesus Christ. Yeah, not going there, mate. But if anyone's interested, they're the officials. Right. I'm just going to have a little look into the live chat while I've been rabbiting away and just see who is jumped into the chat. And Charlie's in there. Hope you're well, my friend. Green Street Elite, Budgie, hope you are well. Dean's Life, hope you're well, mate. All good. Paul's in the building as well. And it's Madrid 1, Chelsea 0. Did I hear right? It was Karim Benzema. I think I saw it was Karim Benzema got a goal. He's a goal machine. I mean, he's 33, 34 now, still banging him in. Quality player. Hope you well, his side. Mr. Singleton, there you go. He's nice little trivia there. That I say we've played them before. We've got a little bit of history, and it's good history. So that's true. He isn't French. He's Algerian. That is correct. Were you at that game, you cheeky sod sharky? You cheeky bugger. No, I was not. How you doing, True Cockney? Hope you are well, and Hodgie as well. Hope you're having a good day. Right. Now, for those of you that might not be too familiar with Ghent, and there's probably a lot of us that aren't, other than possibly what I've already alluded to, that in their former name, La Gantoise, which they changed their name to Ghent in 1971 from, as I say, the French-speaking to the Dutch-speaking equivalent. So you're probably sort of like sitting there, don't really know too much about them, which I don't. I went and did a little bit of research. I've got a little bit of a VT piece for you. So pay attention. So there you go. Were you paying attention? Do you know all the stats? Do you know all the goals that these players have scored? Of course you do. You was paying attention, all of you. Right. Okay. The player that I picked is the player that we need to watch. If he's selected, you never know. We might find it, and we have done often when we've done these video pieces, that we will pick a player. I normally pick the away player that is key, that in my opinion. Duke normally picks the home player, the West Ham player. And a lot of the time we've picked it, and then we find, lo and behold, the players that we've picked are on the substitutes bench, or they're injured, or something like that. So hopefully we're not putting the mockers on the two players that we've selected. But I've gone for a gentleman by the name of Hugo Kuipers. As it says in that little VT, he's a Belgian under-19 international. He has 24 goals to his name in 46 matches for Genk. and Ghent. I'm getting my Genks and my Gents confused because there's obviously two clubs. You've got Genk and you've got Ghent, and we're playing Ghent. So anyway, but yeah, Hugo Kuipers, he's the guy that I think we're going to need to watch out for. Centre forward, obviously, he scored quite a few goals in the Jupiler Pro League. He scored a couple of goals in the Conference League as well. He's got 4 goals in 9 appearances for Ghent. So he's in a little bit of form in this competition, but let's be completely honest. We should probably have too much for this team over 2 legs. Let's be real. But they're on a bit of a run at the minute. They're on a run of, I think it's 7 matches unbeaten, which stretches back to their last defeat on the 26th of Feb when they were beaten 2-0 at Club Bruges. Since then, they've played Anderlecht, Istanbul Başakşehir in the first leg of the round of 16. They then played Zulte Waregem, Istanbul Başakşehir in the second leg. They played Eupen, Seraing and Julian St. Gilloise, and they have come through all of those fixtures thus far undefeated, but they're coming across West Ham United tomorrow. It's all going to change. I'm quite confident, actually. I'm really confident. Anyway, we'll get into that. Just having a little look in the comment section to see what you guys have been saying in my absence. John's in there. How you doing, John? Wish I got it off my head. I was there. Right. Okay. Great night. As was all the Cup Winners' Cup matches. So you was there when we played Le Gantoise, or Ghent as they are now known. That must have been a good night. I mean, obviously it was a draw, the game at the Upton Park, but we won the tie 2-1 to go through to the second round. And little did you know, when you was watching that game, 1-1 draw, 2-1 on aggregate, little did you know that a few months later, Bobby Moore would be going up the steps at Wembley Stadium to lift the European Cup Winners' Cup. When we were kings, ladies and gentlemen, when we were kings. And yeah, I'd imagine it was a fantastic day, I'm quite sure. Sharky getting his teeth into it already. There you go. Eastside comes in, says, players to watch out for, in his opinion, Orban and Fofana, Wesley's younger brother. Well, we'll keep an eye out for them. We certainly shall. Epic, hope you're well, mate. Moyes has more than 1,000 games under his belt as a manager. He's never won anything. We're not going to count the Betway Cup. It's delusional to think that he'll win this trophy. Well, look, it's got to happen at some point, hasn't it? Hasn't it? I mean, look, let's be completely honest about it. Of the teams that are left in this competition, and I know we've not had the best of seasons. We can't say that we have, but we've already played Anderlecht in the earlier stages of this competition, and we might play them in the semi-final. So you'd like to think that we've got something of an advantage over them, even if it's a psychological edge from those 2 previous games. We've played them and we've beaten them in both games, and I thought we were quite convincing there. AZ Alkmaar, yeah, they're not going to be an easy team if they're the ones that we play in the semi-final. But I think, again, you look on paper, I think we should have enough to take care of them over 2 legs. And then you look in the other half of the draw, you've got Lech against Fiorentina. Fiorentina, for me, are the team that if we get to the final, I think that's the glamour tie, isn't it? That's the one that you look at of the other 4 teams and say, right, if we get to the final and we want to try and have as box office a final as it's possible to get with what we've got left, you'd probably say Fiorentina. You could make the argument for Basel, but I would probably say Fiorentina. I would say a little England versus Italy sort of affair in Prague. Hopefully I'll get there. Hopefully I'll make it. I've booked the time off work, but yeah, I mean, look, he's never won anything. I mean, look, who was the Chelsea manager? Was it Maurizio Sarri? He'd never won anything until he won the League Cup was it the League Cup he won with Chelsea? I remember he'd basically won bugger all, and he'd been in football for a long time, and then he broke his duck. So maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. We'll see. But you're right. Thus far, he hasn't won anything. You can't really get away from that. Moyes is going at the end of the season. Him and the board are done. Quite possibly. It's a lot of rumours around as far as that's concerned. They have runners in their team. Could be a problem. Yeah, could be a problem. And, obviously, if we've got if we're not going to match them for sort of pace, then we could be in for a hard time. But I'm pretty confident, actually. I'm pretty confident. East side, they have pace and press high, could be a problem for us. Yeah, it could be, but we'll see. John's reminiscing again. He goes on to say to Sharky that he was only 11. But them nights couldn't be beaten. Everything else is better when you are young. Ask my old woman. John, I'm not getting involved in that one, mate. You leave me out of this. You know, that you started this conversation, not me. Yep, 5:45 kickoff on Thursday. That is correct. Budgie says the only team I'm currently concerned about is AZ Alkmaar, dark horses. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that AZ are probably favourites against Anderlecht, but I think it's a close thing. But I would probably make AZ Alkmaar the favourites. And again, they're no mugs. They really aren't. So we'll have to be on top of our game. But we got to deal with Ghent first. It's as simple as that. Had my photo taken with both cups at our garden fete at St Bonaventure School just before the FA Cup had to go back. Wow. Do you know what? Somewhere there's a photograph of me and my dad with the FA Cup. I don't know where it is. My dad couldn't find it. We moved house a couple of times, and whether we left it behind or I don't know. But there was a photograph of me at around about 4 or 5 years of age with my dad with the FA Cup. Gutted. It's nowhere to be seen. True Cockney, I was told today that Sir Bobby Moore would have been 82 today. Let me just check that. Hang on. Let me just check. Bobby Moore, his birthday was the 12th of April. That is correct. It was wow. Do you know what? That little piece of information had escaped me. Wow. That piece of information thus far today, it's 8:48 p.m. and that piece of information escaped me. That's incredible. Wow, it's his birthday. Well, it's written in the stars then, isn't it? We're gonna beat Genk. Ghent. I'm doing it again. Ghent. It's very confusing. Anyway, I'll say that's the glamour final, isn't it? If we get there, that's the glamour final. Fiorentina versus West Ham, as far as I'm concerned. Bobby was born in 12. True, Bobby was born in I think 12 in the 12th of the 4th. Yeah, that's correct. Yep, that's fine. Right. Now, I've got a little slide that I'd like to share with you good people. We'll go through it and you guys can give us your opinions on what you would do if you was in the manager's hot seat. So a little bit of role play for you people. And I want you to get involved in this. I want you to give us your starting 11, your formation in the live chat, and we'll go through it together. I've got Duke's 11 and then I've got my 11 to go through. So Duke's 11 is, hang on, let me just get rid of that little ticker at the bottom because then you'll be able to see who he's put between the sticks. So Duke is advocating a 4-3-3 formation. He would start in goal with Alphonse Areola. He would bring back the French shot stopper. He would then go with a four-man back line of Emerson Palmieri on the left, Vladimir Koufal on the right, Angelo Ogbonna and Naya Fagurd as the centre-back partnership. Like it. You got the experience of Ogbonna, and then you've got Naya Fagurd alongside him, pair of younger legs. And just in front of them, you've got Flynn Downs as the holding midfielder, which gives Declan Rice a little bit more license to get forward and aid the attack. Now, he's also put in Lucas Paquetá. Now, I don't know whether he's going to be back from his injury that obviously put him out against Fulham. But Duke has gone for Lucas Paquetá. And then up ahead of them, you've got Divine Mubama on the left. You've got Danny Ings on the right. And you've got Gianluca Scamacca through the middle. Again, not totally sure what the fitness situation is with Big Luca. But Duke would like to have him as the spearhead, as the fulcrum of the attack. And with the more mobile Danny Ings one side and the young, effervescent Mubama on Ings on the right, Mubama on the left. Yeah, so, that's Duke's formation and that's Duke's personnel. I like the look of it. I've got to say, it's not exactly what I've advocated for, which you'll see in a moment. Hang on. April 1941. There you go. Did you? You probably did. Fair enough. Listen, I've had so many conversations with so many people, mate. It's just crazy. So you did, yeah, Alton Towers. Yes, you did. Ah, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. You're doing it again. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Ghent. It's all the same. They're all Belgian, whatever. I would love to see Mubama start, says Sharky. And then they're just changing a few pleasantries. Epic says Ings has no business being on the pitch. Ooh. Our January signing, £15 million, proven Premier League goal scorer. Look, I'm not being funny. Yeah, he's scored 2 goals, both against Forest, and hasn't really done too much since. I can't really sort of dispute too much that he hasn't really hit the ground running, but I'd probably argue that part of that has been due to the way he's been utilised. I don't think it's entirely down to him. I think David Moyes has to bear a certain amount of the responsibility on that one, but anyway, right. So you're probably wondering, what's my 11? I've shown you Duke's 11. None of you have come in with your 11, though, guys. There's 15 of you watching at the minute. So come on, get us in your 11. Get us in your formation. Don't be shy, and then we can pick the bones out of that. So that is mine. Now, I would go with a slight change of formation. So I've gone with the same goalkeeper that Duke's gone. And I've also got Aguirre and Ogbonna operating in the back line, but I've gone for a 3-man back line. And I would have Ben Johnson in the back line along with Ogbonna. I'd actually have Ogbonna at the central of the 3. I think that his organizational skills, his communication, his leadership, his experience at the heart of the defense will be absolutely crucial. I did and ah whether to have Aguirre as the central of the 3 because of his mobility, his speed, his ball playing ability. But in the end, I've kind of thought, no, I'd rather have the communicator, the orchestrator of the defensive action at the heart of things. So I've put Ogbonna central, but it's one of those, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But that would be my back line. Now, I would have 2 attacking wing backs. And I would have them as Emerson Palmieri, which is who Duke chose at left back. I've moved him forwards. I've put him into the left wing back berth. And I would put Thilo Kehrer as the right wing back. Now, bear with me. I know that defensively, he is a bit of a liability, which is kind of why I've moved him a bit further up the pitch and given him a bit more license to get forward and get crosses in and get involved in the attacks a bit more. But obviously with the detail to drop back as and when it's required. But let's be completely honest. Really, if we approach this game correctly, and it is an if, we should have more of the ball. I don't see this being another trip to Fulham. I don't see this being another match where we're only going to have 25% of the possession or whatever it was, and we're feeding on scraps. I think that we should expect to have more of the ball. So I think that being the case, Thilo Kehrer's going to be further up the pitch more often during the 90 minutes. That's just the way I see it anyway. But I would have him as a right fullback, getting forward, getting crosses in, making a nuisance of himself in the final third. I'd have Downs as the holding midfielder, which is exactly what Duke had in his 4-3-3 formation. And Declan Rice with, again, that little bit more license to go on those forays up the pitch. But I wouldn't have Lucas Paquetá involved. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to be fit or not. So to be honest with you, I like the look of Lanzini. I think that I was there at the Larnaca game away, and I thought he retained the ball really well. Now, I appreciate it was Larnaca, who were a team of, with all due respect, Cypriot cab drivers. But I think that Lanzini, when he's come in and he's been asked to do a job in this competition, he's done it, and he's done it to a good standard. So why can't he do it at Ghent? I think he could do a very good job there. He keeps the ball ticking over, keeps possession well, and he can set the moves going forwards. Now, I would then have 2 strikers. I would have Danny Ings. I know Epic said he's got no business being on the pitch, but I think he needs to play himself into a little bit of form. He needs to get a little bit of confidence back. And I think what better way of doing it than in a big European game and against an opposition that I think he should have the beating of. And he will be supported by Divine Mubama. Yeah, why not? Give the kid a little bit of something to sort of grab onto. I mean, obviously, he's going to be playing later this month in the FA Youth Cup final. Oh, and by the way, that date has now been changed again. They're now playing on Tuesday, the 25th of April at the Emirates Stadium at 7 p.m. So if any of you weren't too sure, because there's obviously been a lot of confusion about what day that particular tie is going to take place. It was going to be on, I believe it was going to be on the Friday following that. But now they've moved it and it's now going to be on Tuesday, the 25th of April at 7 p.m. confirmed. But I would still put Divine Mubama alongside Danny Ings. Half of this is probably because we've got Arsenal on the Sunday that I'm advocating that this would be my 11. Because obviously you'll notice that Zuma's out of the starting 11. You'll notice that Bowen's out of the starting 11, etc., etc. So there's a couple of players that I've dropped out, but I've not gone wholesale, change it, everything, whatever. But Cresswell's out, Kufau's out from the game that we had at Craven Cottage the other day. So it has got half an eye on the Arsenal game. I can't lie, but let's be completely honest. This is an 11 that if they go at it from the first whistle, in my opinion, they should have no real problems of bringing home the result. But that's my opinion. So I'm now going to have a little look into the live chat and see what you guys have been saying on my absence. Duke comes in and says, as far as the comment about Ings having no business on the pitch, we have to play to his strengths. He cannot be playing when we don't. Yeah, I think, like I say, I think it's utilisation, Duke. I don't think that he's been utilised properly. Yes, he has a responsibility to show the best version of himself, but when's he ever played as a lone striker? I know you could turn around and say, well, he didn't play as a lone striker against Fulham. Did you see where he was operating at times? He was on 10 yards from the edge of his box, him and Antonio. So there you go. Epic, sorry, mate, but Ings is the most likely to score goals, says Budgie. And Moyes is not going to change his tactics. Well, probably not. But we live in hope. Ings can only get better. Yeah, and that's kind of why I would include him. I would include him to try and play him back into a little bit of form. It's the only way. It's the only way. He's not going to improve by sitting on the bench. So, and like I say, this is a Belgian team who, as we speak, are occupying 4th place in the Jupiler Belgian Pro League. So, they're not invincible. They're not. It's not like we're playing Real Madrid. It's not the AC Milan backline of the 90s with Baresi and Maldini and Costa Curta and players of that ilk. They can be got at. James G says Areola. Fair enough. I'm guessing you'd probably have another 10 in front of him. Maybe even 11 if the referee can't count. Maybe sling an extra player in. Why not? Duke, you know that Moyes is never going to do that. Yeah, probably not. But I'm guessing. Yeah, Ghent have a massive following in England. Very good, usual, very good, excellent work. John comes back. The Duke's gone up in my expectations, and his show, the real deal, ain't bad. Fair play. Epic, you can't say he has no business being on the pitch, though. Of course he does if we play to his strengths. Yeah, exactly right. And Scamacca the same thing. Scamacca's the same thing. I don't think we've played to his strengths either all season. Moyes wants him to play like Antonio, and he's too slow to play like that. So if he plays, it's going to be awful. So I'd rather not see him on the pitch at all. Not sure I agree with that, Epic, but there you go. You're entitled to your opinion, mate. Budgie goes Areola, Ogi Aguirre, Zuma. I'm guessing, is this a backline, a 3-man backline, Budge? So Oggy, Aguirre, Zuma, Emerson, Rice, Downs, Paquetá, Johnson, Ings, and Bowen up. So am I right in saying you're putting Ben Johnson as a right wing back and you're going 3-5-2 as well? I'm guess that's how I'm reading it. It goes on to say, or Antonio for Johnson. Okay, yeah. So that looks like it's either it looks like it's a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3 if you're putting Antonio in. Would anyone have Cornet starting? I'd actually start him against Arsenal, and that's part of the reason why I didn't put him in. I'd put him in against Arsenal because I think with their front line, and I appreciate we're talking about Ghent here, but that's, like I say, just you've asked the question, would anyone have Cornet? So I'm going to answer it. I wouldn't have. I did consider having him for the game against Ghent, but then I resisted and I thought, no, Kehrer and Emerson would probably be my choices as the wing backs in the 3-5-2 formation that I'm advocating. And I would save Cornet for the Arsenal game because I think his pace against the likes of Saka, against the likes of Martinelli, having him as an option there, it's gonna maybe sort of keep them a little bit in check. We do have a lack of pace, but with Cornet, I think he allows us a little bit of that. Will we see Scamacca? Again, it depends on his fitness, mate. It really does depend on his fitness, and I'm not entirely convinced we will see him. As much as I like him, I would not start Cornet, says Budgie, and he goes on to say, yes, it's a 3-5-2. So you're going the same formation as I've advocated. So that's fine. Cornet to come on for the last 30 minutes. He needs game time. Yeah, and again, that we're going to have a bench full of players, game changers. I mean, I'm not advocating having an entire bench consisting of under 21s or under 18s players. I would have your Jared Bowens, I would have your Pablo Fornals, I would have your Kurt Zumas. I would, if he's fit, have Paquetá. I would have, if he's fit, Scamacca. But I think I'd probably, like I say, I'd be trying to put out a strong team tomorrow, a team that I believe is strong enough to get the job done and put us in a good position for the second leg. I think if we can go to Ghent and at an absolute minimum, bring it back and we've got a clean sheet as an absolute baseline, then I think that that's a good basis on which to build the second leg at London Stadium on. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to get the result. That's my opinion. I think if you want my score prediction, and you guys can join in on the live chat with this one, I'm going for a 2-0 West Ham win. I think we're going to go there. I think Moyes has generally shown that he's going to put a strong team out. I think that's a given. Like I say, he's not going to put out a team of under 18s and under 21s and completely put all his eggs in the Premier League basket, because he hasn't ever done it either in this season in Europe or in the previous season. He's always put out a strong 11, maybe not the strongest, but he's always put out a team that's always been competitive. And let's also remember that so far we've won every single game in this competition. Yes, I know a lot of the teams have been cannon fodder, but you can only play what's in front of them. You can only play what's in front of you. So it's nothing we can do about that. We can only, when you're a team that's on a higher level and you're playing against a team that you're looking at and you should reasonably beat, the truth of the matter is you can never win, because if you win, everybody says, well, that's what you should have done anyway. They're crap and you should blow them away. If on the odd chance that they actually manage to hold you to a draw, or God forbid actually beat you, then there's all sorts of hell to pay. Budgie says 2-0 as well. Sharky is going 2-1. Paul also says it's going to be 2-0. And Rob goes on, we need to start fast, no going behind early. Yeah, I agree. And like I say, for me, if we can get a clean sheet as an absolute baseline, then that obviously gives us a good basis to build for the second leg at London Stadium. I think we're going to have too much for them at London Stadium. I really do. I think the home advantage, the big stadium, 62,000, big atmosphere. They're not used to playing in front of that in Belgium too often. You know, it's not a big league. They produce some great players, don't get me wrong, the Belgians, De Bruyne and players like that through the years. But the league itself, it's not sort of like 60,000 stadiums full every week. They're not going to be going to those sort of atmospheres. So I think if we get the support in the home leg, that'll really, we can intimidate them, we as a crowd, but we obviously need to get behind the team. But if we can get a clean sheet away at Ghent, then I think that's good. Goals are a bonus, and I think we're going to get them, quite honestly. Dean's Life says 3-1 West Ham win. Hammerhead also says 3-1 to West Ham. And Budgie's just saying hello to Hammerhead. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. I think that all things being equal, I think we should have enough, despite our crap season, despite the fact that the football, by and large, this season hasn't been great to watch. And I was there, like I say, on Saturday. It was a tough watch. I was watching it like that sometimes, but we got the job done. We found a way to win. And I think that we're going to have too much for this team tomorrow. I really do. I think that our extra superior, our quality, our strength, all of the good things that you need to be operating the Premier League. And even though we've flattered to deceive in the Premier League this season, I think in this competition we've so far had enough, and I don't see that that's going to change tomorrow. As I say, I think that we're going to get through to the semi-final. I'm pretty confident of that. With all due respect to Ghent, who will obviously turn up and try and throw a spanner in the works, I just think that over the two legs, we're going to have too much, and we're going to face either Anderlecht or AZ Alkmaar in the semi-final. True Cockney has come in. He says it's going to be 1-0 to West Ham. I'll take that, mate. Clean sheet. Bring them back to London Stadium. That's going to be a good base to build our progress on, I believe. So Jay's in there. Novus, I'm not going to oh my word, what are you like? You should wear a crash helmet, mate. But yeah, there you go. Right, I'm going to disappear now, guys. This was always going to be something short and sweet. I mean, like I say, Hugo Kuipers is the player that I've singled out that we're going to need to look. He's their main goal threat. I think if we can keep him quiet, then we're on a good path towards the semi-finals, but we need to keep the door shut at the back. That's really important. Anyway, I'm going to disappear now. As it says there on the banner, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts on new content, guys. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. Oh, in answer to that question, she's been a naughty little girl the last couple of days. She's been a naughty little girl, but well, you know, she's still a baby, but she's had a couple of little accidents, shall we say. You can probably work out the rest. But anyway, don't forget, support the Iron Supporting Food Bank charity. We'll see you again for the match review, hopefully with a victory to bring back to the London Stadium. Stay safe. Come on, you Irons. We'll see you again soon. Forge from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons.